Let me talk about something real quick. Let me give y'all some background. What's going on?
What?
All right. We've been trying to go live for a long time.
All
Streamlabs.
right.
What's going on? You've been working so well for 3 years with me.
This is a call out.
And
This is a
now,
call out.
now what's going on? I had to switch to the worst encoder setting. Luckily, my computer is strong, so it doesn't matter. But I had to switch
So
to
it's
the
live
worst
now.
encoder setting for it to work. Yeah, we're live. That's why I'm doing this, so the public can see that this
God,
is
I
a
was just
problem. But anyway, we're good.
Well, it is, because this should be a happy day. We're here to talk about a franchise we love.
I'm
And
not
3,
happy.
2,
No, we're doing it.
1.
We're doing it.
Da da da.
Oh yeah.
We're all. No, I was gonna. That was good. That was pretty good. I just had to show off.
Yeah, it's just that one kid is like,
We come in all singing different versions
like
of
the
it.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Let
They
me-
always do that to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, we had the soprano kid who's always like,
Say
I love-
or they sing it at baseball games, and it's like Christina Aguilera. Can you
It's
like
not funny.
like how much
Legend of
mustard can I put on it? Yeah,
Zelda.
that's what we're here to talk about. It's a little obscure game series that no one's talking about right now.
that no one cares about right now.
No one's talking
And
about
no one
this
will
series.
watch.
It hasn't ever been invented before.
No one gives a shh about it. It's the Legend
It's a
of
little
Zelda
niche
series,
interest of ours.
and only ours. We wanted to show y'all this great series and talk about it, shine some light on it, maybe get more fans interested in the series.
Real talk. I saw a poll recently, and they were ranking a bunch of Zelda games. Some classics in there that got overlooked. They all rated all the new ones. These children need to be educated because they don't know about some of these classics.
They don't know any better.
And we're here today to tell you.
They
all
don't.
about
It's
the
older than
best
us,
of
even.
the best.
Yeah,
I'm talking Four Swords Adventures.
I never got to play that one.
I'm talking Minish
I didn't.
Cap, which is coming. Excuse me, for the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance on the Switch. You know, the online thing.
Oh, I already got it on Wii U, so I copped it on that virtual console.
Got to get that eShop.
Oh.
That eShop now.
Oh,
R.I.P.
It's closed. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
got
done.
it.
Yeah,
I
we went on a
snagged
little
it.
spree before. Yep.
Yeah. You got all the good ones. All the ones you needed that aren't going to be available.
Right, yeah. I mean, I even debated buying Breath of the Wild for the Flex. But even though I already had it on Switch with all the DLC.
Yeah, have it
and
on both
everything.
consoles.
Yeah, just for the Flex. I was like, you know
Just
what?
the-
Just
the
for the
worst
archivey.
edition.
Like, by the way, guys, it was also playable on the Wii U.
Just a reminder. Just a reminder. Here's both screens side by side.
Worst edition. This full price, too, in the
Just
eShop
one
for
controller in each
$59, the worst edition. They don't give a fuck. Nintendo doesn't care.
Did they even
No.
make the DLC for the Wii U version, or was the DLC only for the Switch?
Yeah,
They did make it. Okay, well that's
that's the
something.
kind of
Yeah, I
Well,
think we
that's
got to
something.
be that fair.
That's the funny part about it, and kind of a thing where I'm like, I'm not gonna get it, but it would be a flex, like how you had it. Like you can, I know the DLC, you can get a Nintendo Switch shirt for Link.
Yes, yes,
And that
that's
works
one
on
of
the
the
Wii.
many. That's one of the many.
Oh,
And you
Yes.
can get that
Wow.
Switch shirt in Wii U. Like, so you can have it running
It's
around.
just
and-
fun. It's just
and then,
fun.
yeah.
It's like it has one armor, just to let you know. It has one armor, but it's
Oh.
just kind of funny.
Yeah, I plan to
Well,
before I
it has
get,
like 30 drip.
to 33.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. There's another little mark there. Looks like a raindrop. That's 30.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, I plan to get all the cosmetic fun stuff before I get into the nitty gritty because I want to rock.
Yes.
I want to rock that Wind Waker shirt.
Well, full
Yeah. Oh, that's a
disclosure-
good one. The lobster shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I
That's
have
in there
that in
too.
the game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So is it context for people watching? None of us have Tears of the Kingdom yet, right? Tim, you
Right.
don't yet.
Right?
Yeah,
I
none
do
of us
not.
have
I'm waiting for the
played it
DLC
yet.
on that too.
It's not on the list. Obviously, it's too early.
It's too early.
Josh is playing through
God.
Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
but we are going to start here by ranking in semi-chronological order, not timeline order. We're going to go. We're going to start with the OG, Legend of Zelda, and that's the one with the shield right there. Yeah.
One of the first
of all-
open world games ever.
First of all, classy cover. I really like the cover of these old
Mhm.
ones.
Catchy.
It's understated.
Iconic at this point.
Has an air of mystery. It's, to me, it's kind of a Mario Brothers situation. It's the first, it's the trailblazer. It's not the best one. I don't even really think of it as the definitive one, but
No.
it was the groundbreaker. I think
Definitely.
it's
Well designed.
it is. I think, I don't know, second or mid tier. What do you think?
I think
it's Legend of All Right.
Yeah,
It's
I was
Legend
about
of
to
All
say,
Right.
'cause
Legend of All Right is all right. Yeah.
It's
That's
not.
what
It's not about just what it is as a game, and maybe I should keep it to just as a Zelda game versus other Zelda games. But it's a big. It brought the save to the gaming industry. It brought the
really did.
it brought the map. It brought the RPG monsters. Like there was a lot of ideas floating around, and Zelda was kind of like, all right, this is how it's gonna be done, and it's been done that way ever since. No matter what people say, it has been done kind of Zelda way ever since.
No, it's the blueprint.
So
They built it
really
for
is.
consoles. Therefore
Yes.
they could make it so much longer than all
Yes.
these other games.
but
It was a
And
new
it
type of
felt
game.
like an adventure.
I will say
Mhm.
I did have this on Nintendo, and it's hard as shit.
It is.
Yes, yeah.
Everything's cryptic.
Can go anywhere.
We're a different generation, of gamers. We're used to things being a little more hinted at. This, it's like, what do you mean? You got to go down to the corner
Shade
of the
throne.
screen. Like,
Yeah, they did
just got to figure it out.
Yeah, they did a lot of
Exactly.
cryptic
Go to the
stuff.
specific corner and tap
Yeah. So
with your
And-
sword.
and-
yeah.
And in that top-down view, a lot of it feels more like a bullet hell than even other top-down Zeldas.
Some of those
Just because
bosses.
of the rigidity of movement and
Some of those bosses
Yeah.
just be
You have to
flinging
really
the
want
missiles.
You have to really want to play Zelda, so to want to play. So like,
I
you have to,
will
like, be a
admit,
purist,
too,
I guess.
and the overworld theme, even though of course we do love it, it's a classic, it does kind of just play on loop in the main areas, and it does get a little repetitive after a while. It's an old game sort of thing.
And also, it has a nice little remix to the song we know and love. I like how it goes da 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 in the middle a little bit.
That's true.
I'm a
That's
nerd
true.
about it.
On the original.
But I honestly don't really. This might be a hot take. I don't. That's not my favorite Zelda song. Like Hyrule Field.
Oh,
But,
No.
No. Okay.
It's just the main.
Much
Yeah,
better.
it's nothing wrong with it. But
Cool.
the one I like the one from Ocarina.
No, I think there
a
might be
lot.
something wrong with it.
No, I got a problem.
I might have a problem.
So the
with it.
follow-up, I've
Not
never
this
played this
game.
one.
I have played
I have
this
not.
one.
A better cover.
Okay.
Better cover.
What do you
I played
think?
it on console. I played it on NES. It's hard as fuck again. But I will
It's
say
very hard. It's possibly harder.
it's very hard. Because I would say
Yeah.
that where the first one's hard and as like you said, it's rigid. And I wouldn't say that the combat is that difficult though, other than the rigidity. This one, the combat and the movement is actually pretty nice. But because of that, the combat is hard. It reminds me a lot of Dick Tracy, if anyone ever played that on NES.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a lot like
I know
that.
of it.
Like I think the only thing I
Side
played
scrolling and
side-scrolling.
combative.
Yeah, I think I beat one area, which was like a house, not a dungeon, and to get an item. And then the dungeon I went to, I was stuck on forever. I was like, this sucks. So I would actually put this at Legend of Mid, just because it's such a weird game too, compared to the other Zelda games. I never went to back to a format like that. Even with perfecting platforming, they never tried to make a platform Zelda ever again. So
very poorly translated too, as I remember.
Yeah.
Very poorly translated. It's the room and that guy. He's alone in this house. He goes, "I am error," and that's all he says.
Is that the one with
a
this
zone like that? Yeah, he just says, "I am error" in the English version.
And I think
That old funky, yeah.
if I remember, there's a lot of weird.
It's great.
Like this, if you know, there's some
Almost
dreams,
makes it better.
Yeah, right. There's some games in here that we're gonna discuss that are kind of like half steps in the adventure. They're kind of like dreams, like he goes to another world. They don't say that in this one, but I kind of feel like that is the first one of that because it just feels so off.
Well, it really does feel like Mario Brothers 2 to Mario Brothers in that way, where it's like we're breaking from the format a little.
Levels.
It feels, yeah, like it really does feel like another game a little bit. Like it hadn't figured out its identity quite yet. They tried something a little different. And
they were such assholes in that game because you go to a warp zone and it warps you backwards instead of forward.
Jesus,
such a dick move. And then if you don't want to go back, you just have to like jump off. They have a little pit there for you to just jump into. It's so trolly.
Also, this game is the only Zelda game with random encounters. I think, where you're walking in the overworld and there's like black blobs that chase you, and you can avoid them, but you kind of have to fight them to level up in a way. Like it's weird. They tried to they looked at Final Fantasy and tried to like throw that into Zelda. It felt like, and it was weird. Legend of Mid for sure.
Did it feel long? Did it feel like an adventure?
The little I did took me about a month and a half of playing it, so it's definitely
that's not bad. That's not bad at all for that kind of game. Like I think that's a couple of months is what Metroid, Super Metroid took me, and that was Super Nintendo. By
you beat it though?
I did beat it.
I only did like
76% complete. Not 100%, but it's so hard to get 100% in that game. It's crazy.
Jeez.
In Metroid or Super Metroid?
So this is Super Metroid. So it's a little bit later in the timeline now, but Adventure of Link. It's not Castlevania, Metroidvania-y.
No, it's not. But it does now. You almost said Castlevania.
It's a little bit longer.
Definitely feels like Castlevania.
Castlevania Combat, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've seen, it does seem like that.
Huh.
And they took a move from Smash Brothers where he jumps and thrusts his sword down. Yeah.
You can do that.
That's iconic.
That's where it came from.
That started with this one. You're right. That makes sense because it's a side. Yeah. Okay.
So it's much more athletic than the first Zelda. But
definitely.
But he has to be.
The first Zelda, they did the sword beam where you swing your sword at full hearts and it shoots out a beam.
So he was more a magician then.
What's after Zelda 2? I don't.
Zelda 2 is actually a Link to the Past.
And we go to Super Nintendo.
We go to Super Nintendo. We welcome it.
Oh,
we welcome
right.
to the world of 16-bit. Now
this one
is like what I consider to be like
the definitive,
one of the most
this is when Zelda
the definitive of least
top down.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it belongs on the top tier. I think this one is really the Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yes.
It defined a lot of what the franchise would become.
So much extras and polish.
There's a lot of good. It feels good to play too. It fights well.
It still does. It's aged probably the best.
Yes.
It might fight better than some of the future Game Boy iterations. The top down. I would say some of them, not all of them. Some of them.
No, I agree. No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
A lot of future games follow this format too. Of A Link to the Past, and eventually, of course, got that sequel.
I will say I'm not a big fan of how Link to the Past looks, like how he looks as a sprite.
Really?
Because he's pink.
He's pink and he's chubby.
Fair.
I thought you were going to say chibi.
Like, they probably were going for the chibi look, but he comes off as chubby to me. He looks, I know he
you know what? You're right.
With his
he kind of reminds me of how
tubby, like stomach.
He kind of reminds me of how Pikachu used to look. How he was just sort of like
more round,
like square, more round, like cylindrical almost.
And the way he runs, he's like scuttling and.
I do love though. One, it introduced a lot of the classic music and stuff like that. Zelda's Lullaby, stuff like that. A lot more. It's not heavy on story, but there's definitely gave you the feeling of. And while I agree the sprites look chubby, the art looks very cool. You can see on my brother's shirt here, John.
Okay.
Oh, do we have a Link's Awakening cameo here?
Merch release. We have a few merch releases this episode.
Right. So this is the official artwork of Link here. I believe we're looking at.
Heck yeah.
And he looks.
Yes.
comparatively, I think he looks very fun. How
does.
He looked in a lot of other art. I'm trying to think of how he looked.
Yeah, he's got his big poof.
Yeah,
He's got
a
his
little bit of
swoosh.
He's
got
very
swoosh.
he's anime-y.
It's
He is. Yes,
what year was
he is
that,
very
91?
like Toriyama.
It
anime.
might be 92 or 93.
No, it's before 93.
It's not 91 because I don't think.
Oh,
Let's look it up. I think it's 91. I think it's 91, you guys.
I thought so too. We were gonna use the research on it. I'm
What are
thinking
we looking at?
92.
What are we got to figure this out here. What am I looking at now?
Got it.
When does Zelda 2? Why? I wonder what the gap was between Zelda 2 and A Link to the Past, because that's
Japan
so...
91, North America 92.
Did you hear that? Yep. Japan
92
91.
and then
Yeah,
they always
91.
delayed them back then. They
91.
always delayed them back then.
Late 91. Yeah. Here.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we just get on the.
Yeah. This one.
I don't know if we're dealing with the Master Sword. If he had a different Ultimate Sword in this game.
No, we had the Master Sword.
He did, but
This
was
is-
there
Yeah.
one above that? Was there one above
This is
that?
the
No.
first game with the Master Sword.
This is the first
This is
game
the
with
first
the Master
one with-
Sword, but the Ultimate Blade. And I will say, this is also the game with the best song for the Lost Woods, but no one talks about it enough. But it's fine.
No, I agree. It's really good. Like I said, the music, it feels great to play. Controls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a playthrough. I need to get back to it. Replay through.
You won't get back to it. Let's move on.
I'm so close to finishing Age of Calamity. Certainly. Do we have that on here? I hope so.
Age of Calamity.
I'm so close to
No,
finishing.
no. Now we got.
What's the
Wait,
next?
Link's Awakening?
No.
Technically, this is the timeline next one, but not the next release. I think the next release would be.
Oh,
Link's
right.
Link's
The
Awakening.
Game Boy?
Yeah, the Game Boy. It even has kind of the same shield thing going on.
Yeah, okay.
Now that we see that, I like this game a lot. It holds a
I do
nice
too.
spot in my heart. I think it's
the.
the best Game Boy one, but
Mm-hmm.
It is the best Game Boy one. I will agree with that, because the others were felt a little spin-offy.
yeah.
I personally, I think it belongs because the only thing.
You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say, I think it belongs in the second from top
Yeah.
tier. Only because it does feel a little bit like it's done with scraps together. There's a lot more elements in it. Yeah,
I think that's so charming, though.
It's part
to
of the
whole
charm,
dream
though, I do admit.
aspect.
Well, it's also one of the, it's
But
also
they
the first
did
Zelda game like
get
without
these-
Zelda and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, it actually does have a bit more narrative structure, even.
You're cutting out a little bit.
That is that. No, I think he's saying the narrative is a lot more present. There's like a lot more of a narrative
Even
than
more
some of the
Link to
other ones.
Past, maybe.
Yeah, that
And
is
and
true.
I definitely agree with that. Story wise, I think it's a lot even more creative than Link to the Past in the way that he's shipwrecked on this
Mhm.
island and it ends up being a dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And the-
very
yeah.
very inventive.
Yeah. I like
Well,
it.
the remake is super charming.
I was about to say that's probably the next thing I'll get
I do
into
recommend that.
after I get
They
done
did a
with
great
Breath of the
job.
Wild. I'll probably pick that up next.
Everything looks so
it's
bright.
delightful. It's a wonderful. And then after that,
The Oracle games?
was that the Oracle games?
But
or
now
was
there's this
Oh.
Four Swords, which is like it's a Game Boy edition of Link to the Past, I believe, that had some extras. Is that how?
Yeah, the Four Swords Adventures with the multiplayer. But that
Oh,
didn't
so
release
this came out a
next.
little
That
bit
was a
later.
remake. That was a remake.
This
came out a little
bit
later. Advanced?
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
the Game Boy Advance is like
Yeah, pay attention. I was
Four
kidding.
Swords Adventures.
my bad there. So I think the Oracle games are next. I said that, so I think the Oracle games are next.
I will say that the Oracle games. I remember these games fondly because me and my sister. She got Seasons. I got Ages.
Now, I admit I'm going to sit these out a little bit.
I'm vaguely
You haven't
familiar.
played these.
No, I have not. I've been.
Oh, you
wanting
claim to be an expert.
Okay, well, I am actually because I played
play
these.
it.
I haven't beaten
I
any
haven't
of them,
played
but
them,
I've restarted them a million times. I think that this
Really?
I spent most of the time like on my Game Boy lifespan. It was these two games in Pokemon and Final Fantasy Tactics I played the most.
So they went with like a Pokemon approach to this, right? Like
No, well,
it's
kinda.
basically the same game.
You came with like you had like that. There's so many cool things in here now. I'm thinking about it. Like they did have those mounts that helped you with puzzles that you can call for, and they were like not Eponas, but they were like replacements. Like there was like a what was it, a dinosaur alligator thing that you can ride on to navigate the water. There was
Alright.
a kangaroo that you can
Cool.
use to jump around the terrain and
Bring
punch
it back,
away certain
Nintendo.
trees.
Bring it back.
And there was something else. I felt like there was
That
something.
sounds awesome.
It was great. It was great. It was just hard. I couldn't beat any of them. And I remember Age's mind, it focused on puzzles, and Seasons focused on combat. But they both were fucking hard.
Ah.
If you ask me.
That's
It's
the
really
distinction.
a long.
Okay.
It's a really long game. If I remember
Huh.
correctly, like there's a collectathon of 8 things, and after that you have to collect I think 4 things to get into the final battle.
Wow.
Okay.
And you can like
So I-
link both of them to take over the other adventure because they're both like
You
at
can
the same
li-
time. So you can like take some items and supplies from your Age's adventure to your Season's adventure and vice versa. Seasons, you can change the seasons. Time. Like this is the first one actually you can go back in time before Ocarina of Time. In Ages, because you had the Harp of Time.
Okay. Well, that's pretty
Harp
cool.
of Time. Nice. Nice.
So, okay, saying all that, I would say, now that I'm saying that, I don't know if Link's Awakening is better than these. I just forgot about all of them. And I like how the story focused on, like how you see Nehru in the background and another person. It was different from Zelda and Ganon. It was Nehru and this person was Jin and Onyx, I believe is this guy's name.
Yeah, the spirits and the
Yeah, it was a nice little different princess to focus on.
yeah,
Type of
yeah.
thing.
Give Zelda a break. Yeah. So yeah, you think it's?
I
Do
would
you
say
think
that-
it's? In,
I would say after I say all the stuff that's in it, and it's fully colored. I know Link's
Yeah.
Awakening DX came later, and that's fully colored.
Mhm.
But this is
Sure.
fully colored, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on. I would almost put it in
Okay.
Legend of God tier or Legend of Great Game,
Maybe.
and move
oh wow.
Link's
Okay.
Awakening and Legend of All Right.
All right.
I would say that
Alright.
these two games are now that I'm thinking about it are better than Link's Awakening.
All right. Yeah. Better
Okay,
than Link's
then.
Awakening. Well, they are. They're
Because I'm not as familiar either with Link's Awakening. I haven't played through that full game, but I get the gist, and I've spoiled it all.
Oh no, wait. That's
So I'm up for this.
Yeah, that's Link's Awakening.
Yeah, that is Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say if you guys honestly in the age of emulation, and I would say go buy the game and then go so you have a copy that you legally own, and then you can emulate
Yeah.
it legally, and then emulate these games.
Absolutely.
These are definitely worth
Legally.
time wasting if you have nothing to do, bored, jump into it, jump out of it. These games are pretty good.
Yeah.
They might
And
also
that's-
be coming to
That's
Switch
not something you
Online.
usually get from a Zelda. Yeah, and that's nice sometimes.
Yeah,
Especially if you need to
right.
play real quick while you're waiting for
Breath
something.
of fresh air. Yeah.
right, exactly. All right, moving on to what came
Should
We
we
out.
got
go
a
to
big
the-
one.
GameCube or not the GameCube, the N64
Come
one's
on.
next.
Oh yeah, we stepped into
We're
that
GameCube
era.
now.
Into
We
that-
got the definitive 3D one for
Definitive.
a while.
for a while.
My take on Ocarina of Time is that, it's a terrific game. I think clearly, stated. I don't think it's aged as well as Link to
As Link to the
if we're
Past.
not if we're not
Right, I
judging
agree.
by its remake on 3DS,
Yeah, this
then
is
I
the remix.
definitely think I think that's where it belongs.
It's just great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
still
did
great.
so many things right for what they had and how new 3D
Mhm.
gaming was that you can't put it any lower than great. But there are
Right.
certain things, of course, that it suffers from now, looking back.
Yeah, there are just some parts of it that don't feel good to
tedious.
play.
It's
I
clunky
think-
compared to a lot of
Or
games.
whatever, or clunky.
What-
Yes.
Or just having to
lighting.
like equip like the boots, like on and off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's-
Yep. The water
terrible.
temple suffers because the game lacks,
There's just
at that
certain
point.
quality of life stuff they didn't figure it out.
Until a little later.
And also, if we really want to talk about it, story's kind of not that great.
No, there's not a lot to it.
It's very straightforward,
Yeah.
like it is the base, 3D Zelda game. For what it is, for kind of both this and but if you're gonna play the 3DS remake, in a way, this is
I agree.
forward one, and I do think outside of a few cryptic parts in the beginning, once you do get well paced and stuff, there's not really a lot of filler in the game.
Once you get out of
Really
well, even I even go as far as say like, first 3 dungeons, because there's still a lot of things that aren't always clear.
when you get to
they aren't.
because
You guys are
trying to
cutting
figure
out
out-
a lot on your guys' end.
As a
Oh,
kid,
I'm
it was
sorry.
Jabu
That's all
Jabu's
good.
belly for me. I just
I
couldn't
wonder
pass.
if it'll
I
sound
love
better.
the boomerang though. Once they gave me
Yeah,
the
the
boomerang, I was a boomerang fiend. So
Weapon
much
of
fun.
choice.
I loved like picking up rupees and stuff just for no reason with it.
And it
Stunning
was
people.
very satisfying. That
It was
one.
very
John talk
satisfying.
Wasn't
like this.
it
You
wasn't
don't have
even-
to wear it. But
okay.
And let's
I'm
talk
gonna
about
test
that
some-
too. There's like there's a
you
thing
don't have to
that
wear it.
I would say the
Yeah,
2D Zelda just lacked because it was 2D.
Oh.
There's so satisfying experiences and moments, but the 3D Zelda game, they seem to always bring some satisfying item that you love to use. Somebody.
And
Yes.
and the formula, of this is the dungeon's problems that you can't get by, and then you get the item that lets you get through
Yes.
it all.
Yes.
It was very
Well,
satisfying.
And
back
then at the end of every dungeon, should you
The end of every
good
dungeon.
bosses, especially the final boss. Sick.
Oh yeah, that's final boss.
Yeah, I never beat this game, but I had a friend in the neighborhood who had all the stuff ever. Like he literally had a library of anything video game related that you wanted to play, and he loved to play Ocarina of Time, and he had like the manual or whatever. So we're kids, and we had this stupid thing where I'm like, you play, and I'll be your computer, and we'll do a 100% run, and that was like our thing. And so he would run around and be like, yo, computer, where's the heart container? And I'd read it off to him and shit like that. It was, stupid kid shit. But because of that, I thought that this game has a lot of memories for me. And me trying to beat it myself.
Mhm.
So I seen the ending, I played it, but it was, I'm not going to lie, kind of too scary for me after a while. Because I didn't like the Shadow Dungeon at all. And I didn't like the aesthetic of Ganon, to be honest.
No, Ganon
Scared me.
one. He's very cool, but he is scary. Both this one
Phantom Ganon.
have a lot of creepy atmosphere. That's just. It's also a product of like the graphics and the limitations.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
The
like
lighting
the
in
Forest
certain
Temple.
areas, you can't see what you're supposed to, and can get
Yeah, it's too dark. It's
Oh,
very eerie.
So that reminds
frustrating.
me, like the Wii Virtual Console. That was back up on like the TV, in the living room. Because I'd played when I got done with school at like 3:00, the light from the sun would go through the window, and half of the TV would be like covered. So
Right,
like playing the
yes.
Shadow Temple,
Yeah.
I literally
Could
basically
not
had to.
see.
Here's your
Claire.
shadow.
Had to play in the shadow. Oh, man.
That's why I was never huge on the Shadow.
I didn't like the Shadow Temple.
It just
I didn't like-
suffered from poor lighting and graphics. The graphic limitations of the day.
I didn't like the Forest
And-
Temple. I didn't like the Forest
Yeah.
Giants.
He didn't like
It's
it.
hard.
He didn't like it.
I mean,
I
like,
like it, but it's hard.
I didn't like Adult
the-
Link's whole segment. It was just all scary.
I
and
love that.
And I'm such a little baby about
Well,
that.
how did you feel about the next game that was scary?
Very scary, but I like it because of the story started.
Because
getting
it's
some
meant to be
story,
scary.
man.
This one,
It's meant to
It's
be a
meant to
little
be scary. I
spooky.
accepted. I was like, all right, it's supposed to be Doomsday.
They probably took that feedback from the first one. They're like, it's scary, and they're like, oh yeah.
So where do you guys want to put majority?
I would put it in
I
Legend
almost
of
want
God
to put
tier.
it better. I want to put it better than
They fixed a lot of
than
stuff.
Okay.
Ocarina.
It's like
because they did
Okay.
polish it, and it's
Mhm.
in one of the most incredible stories and an interesting gameplay mechanic with the clock.
yeah.
Yes, very interesting. It's a really cool concept to bring this ground
I would feel like you're
over and
more
over.
the hero of time in this episode
Right.
in this
Think
story
so.
than in
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time, because like
No.
in
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time you're just flipping back between before things messed up
Mhm.
and after things messed up. And this one you're
Right.
actually manipulating minutes and hours to
Yeah,
your
all the time.
advantage, and it all the time. And
Yeah.
even in side quests, you're reaching your hand in people's lives to help them out
Yeah.
at certain times. Like you're actually the hero of time in this one.
It's definitely one where I think to have the full experience, you actually got to do quests. You got to get all the maps, do the
Yep.
side quests, because it really gives you full story.
Because it answers the question. Because you're thrusted into this world, and you might,
Mhm.
as a player, feel a little selfish. Like,
Which is
yo,
so
low-key, I want to find Epona and get out of here.
Mhm.
But
Right.
it teaches you, like, yo, this is why you should care about this town a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
Very
Yeah,
creative power-ups.
Yeah.
Sorry, Don, but I have to say, great power-ups.
The mask
yeah.
system is awesome. I love the mask.
The mask system and
Yeah.
the lore behind it too.
So
is
great.
just so yeah, it's one of the best.
Yeah, for me personally, it's kind of like what you say. You know, side the main game of Majora's Mask. I'll be honest. You know, like if it was my list, I wouldn't put it. Dungeons.
Well,
and
it's not
bosses,
your
I do
list.
like.
It's not your list.
It's not my list. Yeah, but yeah,
Next
but
time.
Next time.
The dungeons and bosses for me, I do a bit of a step down from Ocarina in the game. One of the things I will say I did have saving the game work was very, very specific because you had the owl statues, which there weren't a ton in the game. Like there weren't so little, but there weren't. Sorry,
It's okay.
yeah, and basically, if you saved at one of quit, and it was just one of those things that's just a little inconvenient. You wouldn't. And I don't recall there being a ton.
He doesn't recall there being a ton of something. He cut out there.
Save points.
Save okay, not a ton. It's few and far between.
But
I think
they
a
did
lot of
have
games
the song
actually.
of teleportation to get you to anyone you wanted.
Now that is true, but it
then
wasn't always.
reversed.
Very early
Yeah,
on,
no-
too.
what
That
were
was
you
like
gonna
the
say? But what were you
second
gonna
song
say?
learned.
Yeah, and I'll say this. The song.
Okay.
Even
got off
then,
there.
though, they're not always in the most.
Yeah. They are
Yeah,
all
and
okay.
then the 3DS version did fix that a little bit. They added a few more save points,
Okay.
made that a little easier. So
Yeah, I haven't
I do
played
think
that
if you,
Really?
It's good.
yeah, there. Now, granted, some people it's a little more.
He cuts out every time he starts a good explanation.
It's just like,
He's
it
right as soon
sounds
as he gets into it.
It sounds so funny
Yeah,
because
I'm
it's like, yeah. He's just like, and this next point,
It sounds like somebody's interrupting him. Dom,
Yeah.
are you doing this on purpose?
you're trying to censor him.
Are you censoring
No,
him?
I just had to unplug and plug back in the headphones to hopefully it won't happen.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sometimes that does happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just hear there's like a few differences. Just one of the ones I just really know is just the saving, and then like the swimming as Zora is a bit different in the 3DS one. Like it's not quite as fluid, which yeah, but. Yeah, I'd say if you're playing this
Great
game, though,
Majora's Mask.
the side quests are so great, though, that it really is just the heart of the game. It really captures the tone very well. It's a very good melancholy story without feeling too, not quite dark, but like not too dour. It's not like
Yeah,
it's
just a
rubbing.
fringe of a-
Yes.
It's not edgy,
Eerie.
but it's somber.
Somber
Yeah.
is a great way to put it.
Yeah, and
And I-
as you said, the masks are great. And I'm doing the side quests since you can get masks, as rewards too. The side quests are always rewarding at that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really
and
rewards it.
so God tier all the way for me.
Yeah, I only have to put it there because even though it was another game that scared me, another game that I didn't beat, I had on N64 cartridge. I loved how when you moved I don't know if you ever seen it on cartridge, but it had the title screen, and when you manipulated it, it was like holographic. So you know how it moves in the beginning of the title screen. It did that on the cartridge. So because of that, it was a game that always intrigued me in my library. Every summer, it was like a tradition. Me and my sister were like, let's try this Majora's Mask again. And we always get up to like the Great Bay Temple. And we didn't have a strategy guide. This is before the internet, and we just get stuck and give up and start all over again next summer.
I didn't know about the hotline. There was a hotline back then.
Really?
I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, the Nintendo hotline. I didn't even have Nintendo Power. I just bought the games I thought were cool and played them. So like
they would literally pop the game in and like go through them with you.
But this, I say that to segue into the next game, which is my favorite Zelda game of all time. And half of that is because it's the first Zelda game I beat. Because all the Zelda games are complicated, they're tricky. This is the first one I beat. No Nintendo Power.
Same.
Even the Triforce Collection thing I did with all my own brain. It was great.
There you go.
It's so creative and
top tier,
just felt so open and like really like the next generation of Zelda.
I agree. I think the one caveat
art style is amazing.
It's aged the best graphically.
Yeah.
One thing again, quality of life improvement in the remake.
Big
setting
time.
your sail and changing
Fast sail.
some of the moving around the ocean. It can feel a little empty. It can feel a little tedious, but I don't know. There's something that feels
But
so
then there's the warp
still
zone.
about being on the sea. It feels huge.
Yeah,
It's
but
not a
It
huge
just
gap
feels
when you
it
think
feels
about it, but
right.
It
Feels like you're a
endless.
pirate.
and that's one of the things where I think like the remake really kind of puts it in God tier. Where I feel like in the original, kind of having the sailing be so restrictive in the original, like it was open, but you had to change the wind all the time, and even go in the direction of the wind. It did make it feel a little bit like you saw this open sea, but it's not like you can go wherever you want. But with the remake allowing you to get the swift sail, it feels like the chains are off now. It's like, all right, now it's the full potential that this game can really show, and it just feels great. It's like it lives up to its legacy, and it really does. And even then, the original is still a fantastic game. Like
I think I can say, and I think maybe we agree here. I'm not sure, but best Link, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
a new tier of Link, a new Link for the multiverse.
I think
I like
the motivation behind this Link
Expressive.
is the only true heroic motivation that Link has ever had. Every other Link has been told, "Hey, you're a chosen one, so get to it, boy."
Yeah.
This is the first one he said, like, "Look, my sister's in danger. I gotta go get her no matter what." And then halfway through the
Doesn't have
game,
anything
he
to do
figures
with
he's a chosen one.
legacy. Yeah.
And he chooses after that. He could be done. He's like, I just low-key wanted to get my little sister. I did that. But he's like, you know what? I'll save the world now, too. And that's a hero. And I thought I saw it in that voice.
And he made friends along the way.
It's one of the. Here's the thing. Even though people act like this is like a kiddie game because of the graphics, the most brutal Ganon takeout. Like,
oh man,
introduced us to these guys.
Also,
very intense.
I will say, Breath of the Wild.
I'm talking about the core
and Twilight Princess in a way, but I would say the counterattacking in Wind Waker is still unmatched. Like the parry system is so good in Wind Waker. You can parry things that you don't even see, but it's like you have a sixth sense, and if you just pay attention to the vibration, you can hit it. You kind of have to be facing people to parry them now in Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess. They don't let you get away with that. But this Wind Waker Link, he had like a sixth spider sense, and he was fucking rolling around the ground. There'd be a lot of times I would be mobbed up and go completely untouched from tapping A over and over again.
Actually, speaking of mobbed up, one thing I love about Wind Waker is attack each other. Like they can just beat each other up, like in the onslaught, which is great because you'll have these like Goblin and Dark Knight just like going down the hall, bros, and then the minute they see Link,
Yeah. And actually smack the guy in the back of the head. Like, and there's some times where they played with that. Like, I felt like there was a couple of, maybe that was Twilight Princess, but I felt like there was a couple of times where you were gonna fight something you thought, and a bigger thing was like, get out of the way. Maybe I just imagined that.
No, I'm sure you're right.
You get to the pit of 100 trials or whatever, the pit of trials.
Oh,
Yes,
also speaking of,
there's a lot of interactions where they're
the
smacking each other around.
scariest undead iteration of
Ooh.
Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the reed heads. Yeah,
The reed heads in that
yeah.
game where they
very
screech
good
at you,
screech. Yeah.
and then
When their mouth opens up and their
climb
eyes
onto
glow
you
red.
and
Yeah.
start biting you. Ooh.
Yeah. Whoa.
Sorry, watch.
And
That was my
people
Mickey Mouse
were
watch.
saying the game was too childish looking, you know. And you
They
get to that
betrayed
part.
Zelda. They ruined Ocarina of Time's dark tone.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I also like
I
how
think
much time
Hyrule
you
being
spent.
drowned by an endless rainstorm is pretty dark to me.
What is this
I
Disney
like
for?
Pirate Zelda. First, you're like, seems like her. And then it's revealed, spoiler alert, 20-year-old game, but yeah.
But
yeah.
it's
and
true.
Then, like, you're like, wow,
Tetra
you spent time
herself
with her.
was
'Cause
so
in the
cool.
others, you don't really spend time with her. Well, I guess Ocarina kind of does it with Sheik, but it's not quite the same.
I
You
say
know what I
Tetra
mean?
over Sheik.
Yeah. It's not the same thing. Sheik is more like a hidden
Right.
messenger
I say
that
Tetra
like
over Sheik.
jumps in and out and
Right.
kind of is like, you're doing a good job, keep going, and then like leaves.
Right.
Where
Right.
Tetra, you get to learn like her personality, and she's in the same boat as you too. Like she doesn't know she's chosen either.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. Exactly.
Well, I think the
So
fact that
much of
you
what
are
I
so
look
young
for.
makes the adventure feel bigger.
Yeah, that too.
Oh,
Guy.
And also, it's a gosh darn crime that Tetra's not in Smash Brothers, but it's whatever. It's a gosh darn
planned at
crime.
one point. Planned
Plan it
but
again. You guys put gosh darn Minecraft Steve in there. You can put Tetra in there.
You can manage it.
All right. Well, moving on to the next GameCube/Wii introduction.
Oh yeah.
This is
This is
it's
the
gonna be
first
hard
one.
not to put some of these because I love Twilight Princess as
I
well.
love this game.
I love this
I
game.
love it. I think it belongs in the top tier.
I think it belongs in
maybe.
God tier. The cutscenes is what puts it in God tier to me.
Yeah.
Well, the
it's-
dungeon design is the
It has
best
the
of them.
best dungeon.
I the only thing I will say, I'm just not in love with the wolf bits. I love how you
Yeah.
can choose to do it later, but at beginning it's a little
When it's
slow
made.
paced for me.
When you have
No,
to
I
be a
agree.
wolf
It's
and you have
slow.
to
You
find like
have to
those
be in the
insects.
tiers of the kingdom. You have to find the tiers of the kingdom.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you have to find those tiers before you can. Yeah, I didn't like that part. It's a little slow. I do like it when you do have the option to switch independently between both, though. That's really cool.
Yes, that's fine. That's fun.
Yeah.
Later on, that's fun.
It
You
gives
get some abilities
Great
later.
sidekick.
He's
Great sidekick.
Great
You got her
sidekick, great
right
the
there.
best
guy.
sidekick, if you ask me.
Mhm.
Actually has personality. Actually has purpose. Like no offense to Navi or Tattle, and Tattle is probably my second favorite. I don't count the King of Red Lion since it was just a puppet before you to talk to the King of Hyrule through. As really a
And he's not
sidekick,
with you the whole time.
and he kind of
Yeah.
just gets you to where you gotta go, and is like peace. And
Right,
then like
yeah.
sometimes he talks to you through the stone.
And Fee or Fi, forget
Once
it.
in a
You know, that's
Fee
the worst
sucks.
for me.
Yeah,
That
Fee-
was
We'll-
the
we'll
worst.
get to that.
We'll get to
We'll get to
Okay,
that.
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but Midna.
I'll get to Skyward Sword.
It goes Midna, then Tattle for me. People sleep on Tattle from Majora's Mask, but she has almost as much spunk and personality and dialogue and character development. Not development, but backstory at least. It's just
yeah.
a very interesting side character. People just forget because it was, not as big as Midna. And people can't draw porn of the fairy, so.
Well,
what
this
was that last bit?
Twilight Princess, it feels, granted, they all, a lot of these lines. This one feels especially thick. I was like the perfect age when I did this.
You're a teen, right? Teen for teen.
Now I will say, Zelda and Ganon. You know what I mean?
You just
cut
cut
out
out
there.
completely. You said Zelda and Ganon. Silence.
They-
Then you know what I
They
mean.
kind of feel like an afterthought to the story.
Oh, do they?
A little bit, just
I
a
will
little.
say, yeah, they sort of
more
shove Midna to the
peripheral.
side and the Twilight
No,
to the side.
Midna is the main. Like, it's really her story.
I know it. So it seems like they just shoehorned him in at the end, is what I'm saying. Like they
even like
sweep her
Link's
away.
other love interest is like a village girl.
It's kind of boring.
They kind of sweep that away too, don't they?
Yeah. She
Yeah, that's what I'm
forgets
saying,
him.
like,
she gets
Three
married
different
off.
things going
This
on.
is another
and then-
one where, like, I don't know. I think the Twilight Princess story is cool,
Yeah, it's fine.
but the cutscenes really elevate it. If it was like
Mhm.
the cutscenes of Wind Waker, it probably wouldn't be. It probably would get a Legend of Great game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do like the dungeon design. I would say that the combat was really cool.
Combat was cool. It had probably some of the most dark looking,
Yeah,
like
That was-
gothic looking.
that's what I was
graphics
thing I was about to
out of
say.
them all.
It was really, really dark. Like, not tone wise, just how it looked, and that's sometimes made me miss some puzzles, miss some cues, miss some
It
stuff.
looks muddy at times, I'll even say.
And
I'll
didn't you
be
play
hard
the
on
HD
graphics.
version?
Yeah, yeah. And
So they
I
didn't
don't have
even
that
improve
version.
that stuff, did they?
I only have the
it's
Wii
really,
version.
really,
I had the Wii as well,
it's really bright.
and that was fun. You know, that was
At
my
certain
first
points.
time with motion controls like that. That was fun, and they were good.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't beat the Wii U version because I just stopped, but I am pretty far. I need to pick it up. I think I was going to beat it after I beat Breath of the Wild, just to finish.
Great,
Yeah.
great ending.
Oh yeah, great. ending.
Probably
I
the
beat
second
GameCube
most
version.
gruesome Ganon death.
Yeah.
Especially what Zant does at the end, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler alert: you defeat Ganon, so
Yeah.
he Zant does this little neck snap move at the end and like finishes Ganon off. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the whole like Twilly like people, like the Twilight realm. I wish they would investigate
that was a
one
great
more time
area.
for us. Yeah.
I want a Twilight Princess sequel. I do want one.
And I really, there was something on the internet, now that we have a Tears of the Kingdom, there was actually, it's funny that was the official title, because I remember back in the day, there was rumors of a more serious sequel to Twilight Princess that was going to be...
They had a tech demo, didn't they, before Wind Waker? And so everyone thought that the GameCube Zelda was going to be this dark looking...
Well, actually, now you say that, let's look that up. But
sure,
Yeah,
we can.
And then you had the
find
Wii
that.
U tech demo that also showed something similar to Twilight Princess.
I remember that. Yes, and it was very Twilight Princess looking with that
we watched this
spider.
one time, or I watched this earlier somewhere.
Here it is.
We're running off a video
This
feed.
was
We
cool.
actually can
Yeah, this is a
This don't wanna
boss.
get
This is a
copyrighted.
boss in Twilight Princess already. I think it's
Remember they
their
changed
edition
from
of
Day and
Goma.
Night?
It looks like Mecha Goma. It looks like they were like experimenting with the futuristic thing that we see with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like we're in the future a little bit, but not
Well, it looks
really
like
yet.
Temple of Time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it looks really
See,
nice.
this is what I wanted the HD remake to look like.
Mhm.
So it's like a real overall. It should look like that.
One of my
I mean, it looks
favorite
sharper.
temples ever is the Temple of Time in this game.
Cool
And I'm
one.
glad they chose that for this. 'cause
I
it
like
looks so
the
good.
desert prison was Arbiter's
Oh yes, yes.
scary one.
It's,
All
it's
these
a
dungeons
Bounces
can
and
be-
stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, good
Oh,
game.
that's
Good
a-
game. I don't mind it. Despite
Yeah.
some little flaws
Despite-
here and there.
Now the
Um,
next one. This one is terrible.
Well, it suffered from a
I don't-
lot.
I'm going to be the defender on this one. And
Some
All
good
right.
music.
I wouldn't
would-
say terrible.
Okay.
I'm putting on my Ace
I wouldn't
Attorney
say
pants on this one.
John was
I
gonna
would
stick up.
say
Really,
it's
really
terrible.
great dungeons.
I'll
Really
wait
great
till you guys
dungeons.
I would say it's terrible because worst combat in any Zelda game ever, if you ask me.
I didn't like the
The
controls.
weakest
didn't like the
world
combat.
in any Zelda game ever. Just keep skydiving.
Weakest Hyrule.
Just
I will say
keeps-
weakest Hyrule.
Like you just keep skydiving from clouds into like little. It feels like it feels more Mario than anything. Like go into this world next, go into that
Feels
world
segmented.
next. It brought durability and weapons into the game.
I was hoping
and
for
I was like,
more
what the
Sky Islands because it felt emptier than Wind Waker. To
Yeah,
me,
for
with the
Skyward
Sky
Islands.
Sword, I thought there would be like, I thought it was gonna be like, okay, we're taking the Wind Waker concept, just we're gonna be in the sky.
Right, it seemed like
It's
that at
not
first.
that. It's not that. And even when you do get that little ability to kind of fly around on a sky dragon thing, it's not satisfying. And that's when I quit. I think I got stuck on the boss battle that you fly around on and have to shoot certain. I was like, the controls. That's when I realized the controls suck. this is not satisfying. It's not fun enough to keep trying over and over again. I don't care anymore. I don't care. And so yeah,
Okay,
I just
so
don't like Skyward Sword.
all right,
Thanks for
so
the CD.
I'm gonna make my
That's
time
it.
for
and that's
my
it.
time for my case.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So I'll agree to the extent that I do think the game structure does kind of bring it down just a bit. I do think that like, it's not a very open game, and there is a lot of backtrack. It's honestly the format's a bit like, and it was gonna sound like a weird comparison, but it's like the Mario like RPGs like Paper Mario, where you like have these chapters, you go into chapters, but then got backtrack. But
right.
taking the game kind of as its own thing, though, it's still not bad in that front, and I'd say the Dungeons design, I feel like, is second strongest, just after Twilight Princess. The boss design, I think, is the most fun out of any 3D Zelda game, except for one, which one.
Yeah.
The Imprisoned
Squishy
sucks,
too.
but
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I will admit, the Imprisoned does get better when you figure out that you can actually just jump on his head from a higher spike the thing. That was something I
What?
learned. Yeah, you can actually like go on a higher ledge, jump down on top of his head, and then just slam the spike down. You can skip the toes altogether there.
And it instantly takes care of him?
Not instantly. It counts as a hit. It counts basically as a hit for him.
Oh gosh. I was slicing
I
every
did not
single
know this.
toe.
That boss
would you
got
be-
me
but how-
more angry than any other
I was
Zelda
about to say, but
boss.
even what you just described there,
Angry. It's
with the
very
controls
angry,
they give
Zelda.
you,
Groose.
Yeah.
The controls, it does actually work very well. Once you're able to adapt to them. Again, my first console was the Wii. I was able to adjust to the
I
Wii
hear
controls
ya.
very well. So when I use the sword, it is like every enemy is kind of a puzzle, and once you kind of figure that out, you're like, okay, yeah. And the only gripe I have with the controls, and this is more for the Wii version, is sort of the pointer feels kind of sluggish compared to other Wii games, and
It's clunky.
Well,
yeah,
I don't
some
like
people
With the
forget
Pro.
there is a remake to this. There is a remake
yes,
to this.
and I
which
have
apparently
played
they
that.
improved a lot.
I heard it still
Jonathan's
didn't.
played it.
You have played it.
Let
Okay.
him.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so
Let them.
okay, so here's the thing: the pointer controls are actually oddly better in the remake, but there is a gap with the sword controls. Is that you do have to recenter it more because the have the IR that the we had, so you have to recenter a lot more with the sword. But you do get the camera controls in the game, so you do have the full camera movement and other Zelda games. And if you don't want to use the Wii controls, you can actually set the motion controls to the right analog too. So if you don't want to deal with the motion controls, you don't need to. They also improved. There are some minor things too, like for instance, both the problem this game and Twilight Princess had is that whenever you'd pick up a certain item, like every time you'd quit and reload the game, it'll have to tell you what that item is, even though you've collected it like 50 times. Both the remakes for this and Twilight Princess did away with that this time. And there are points where you can actively ignore feed this time, which definitely makes the game flow a lot better. And I'll also say this, I think Skyward Sword has probably my favorite story of any 3D Zelda game. Like,
Wait.
All right, now he's capping.
okay,
That's
I'm
gonna be a
going
tough
to make
one.
my case here.
But
I'm gonna make my case here.
It is an interesting final boss, and
The final boss is okay, but here's my case with the story, though, is that I feel like this is the game that really does work to develop like both Link and Zelda and their relationship. Like this is the first game I really feel like where you spend enough time with Zelda to really care about her. Like Wind Waker's close, but I feel like after the beginning, though, like at a certain point, you do kind of spend too much time kind of apart from her at a certain point. Whereas in this game, you really feel like you get that connection. And a lot of what you do at the beginning of the game, even though it is slow, does set up stuff for later in the game, like with Groose, your relationship with him, and kind of that dynamic, and he becomes a great character. And
he wins Zelda over in the end.
Okay, but that's my thing, though. It's like
Dear
I
Him is
agree
also
with
pretty
that.
villain.
I agree with that. But do I want that relationship with Zelda? Like a romantic one?
You just want to get in there and start slicing baddies.
Like I like.
You know what?
I liked how they in Wind Waker they replaced like that lovingness with his sister and made the princess because at the end of the day, Link is not Zelda's husband. Link is Zelda's knight.
Could be.
Yes.
Link is
in a way.
always
honestly-
Zelda's night.
I would have
It
put
depends
this
on the
game
game.
one tier higher, but I have to put it one tier down now that Tears of the Kingdom is out. I just feel like Tears of the Kingdom just feels like what this game always wanted to be, and it has that good story too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
I
at least
haven't
put it with
played Tears
Ocarina
of
of
the
Time.
I would. Here's the thing. I think if I could talk, because I haven't said much on this one. I haven't played it in a long time. I'm willing, but it's
Oh,
probably
no.
the one I've wanted to revisit.
You cut out right when you're like,
Cut out.
right when
Just because he's touching the mic.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say here. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
We got you. We got you.
Okay, sorry. No, you don't touch the
I'm
thing.
not touching.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't cover it. Don't cover it.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not co-
was
I'm not
accidentally covering it. I'm willing to, revisit it, play the remake, because what kept me from revisiting this, I hate the Mod Plus, even like it made it very clunky and difficult to play, very frustrating. But playing it on Switch might have had fun overall, but it's probably the one at least, so I'd put it in all right, because it's still, at the end of the day, like a Zelda game is still a good game. I don't know, maybe we can all agree on that, right?
I mean, I'd say though, like, still, well, side quests too are great. Actually, I kind of wanted to. I forgot about that, but yeah.
There were
But
some
yeah,
fun
I
ones. I remember.
understand that like the content is great in it, and that's the thing that frustrated me the most about Skyward Sword, because as I was playing it on the Wii, and why I didn't give it a chance when the Switch came out, is because it has such good stuff in it, and it's so good, but the controls, which is the main thing you need to use to navigate the game,
Yes,
are so limiting compared to all other Zelda games. And it would be so
Twilight
cool
Princess.
if they just made this
Motion
one more
controls are-
time. One
Yeah.
more. Honestly, they messed up. They should have remade
should've
Twilight Princess
waited.
for Switch. No, Twilight Princess for Switch, and remade this on Wii U. Because remember that Nintendo Land game where you
Yeah.
are Zelda people? The controls for a sword in that game are perfect.
I forgot about that. We used to play that.
This
it
game would have
controlled
been
way better.
perfect on Wii U.
I agree.
So,
You know what? Maybe
But
they should have
Nintendo,
waited.
they won't hire me, man. So it's whatever, man.
But they won't return his call.
So that's my biggest gripe with Skyward Sword. I don't disagree that there's probably great stuff in it and characters and great boss battles. It's just doing those things so frustrating.
No, I
This
absolutely
is the first
agree.
Zelda
I
game
think-
that I quit because not that I couldn't do it, I just wouldn't.
No, I.
I'm
skill
seeing
issue,
the tier
too.
that it's in right now. I'm not mad at it. I'm seeing the tier.
But I'm glad that I can hear someone that can navigate those controls and like the controls and tell me how great of a game it actually is, because I never finished it. I refuse to. So I'm glad that, Jonathan, you can tell me how great it is and I can live through you the amazingness
The controls
of Skyward Sword, because it is the first
would
story in
mess
the
up,
timeline.
but they would only mess up sometimes. And it's the very
Yeah, and
first
I
story.
understand why people don't like it. Like outside of the controls, I do get kind of the structural issues and sometimes the backtracking. I do get that. Those are issues with the game, and and I've replayed this quite a bit, so I definitely have felt more. But even the good stuff for me, though, I am like, but this is really good though, and yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even fault it for backtracking, because that's pretty much every Zelda game.
The backtracking was
Wind
different
Waker,
enough. It
but Wind
felt
Waker's
new,
backtracking,
especially.
my favorite one is the worst backtracking in any Zelda
Yeah.
game. Picking up all those pieces and going back to Tingle's Island, 600 rupees or whatever, every map piece. Oh my god.
I think the backtracking would have been a little better had you been able and they could have done this maybe with the remake, is that had you maybe had somewhere to connect the bottom worlds. It didn't necessarily need to be a full map like Breath of the Wild, but maybe there's a tunnel you could discover and be like, all right, this tunnel will take you from the fire area to the forest area.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That would be
Mhm.
actually.
Like a
Yeah.
I'm
low
gonna get between them.
atmosphere version of the
A
Sky
low
Dragon.
atmosphere bird, yeah.
If only there was a Zelda game where you could be in the sky but
Man.
tunnel. Really make something like that.
All right, well, Skyward Sword actually got a really good discussion out of us. I was surprised.
Yeah, I was gonna say
There was a lot to
we'll have
say.
to get
There
a
was
little
a lot to
quicker
say.
on some of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we missed the GameCube one. We missed Four Swords Adventures. I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone
never
has
played
anyone
this
played
one.
this one,
I've only played
a lot of
one
people
Link
haven't.
to the Past.
this one is
Tim-
so fun.
I imagine
It's like a Mario game, all right? It's like basically there's about 8 worlds. There might be 9 or 10 or something like that because it's not exactly like it feels like Mario World though because you have the whole Hyrule map and like 4 levels per world, and you control all 4 links, and the controls are really like intuitive. It's top down, similar to Link to the Past, but yeah, there's all sorts of cool levels. There's a couple of Hyrule Castle levels, and it just feels just very satisfying. There's tons and tons of enemies, and also like mini bosses and real bosses that are creative. There's dungeons too, which I think the 4th world out of everyone is a dungeon or something like that. And then you can link it to your Game Boy Advance too, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I should have got this one because the other ones you kind of have to have a Game Boy Advance.
It's a very fun like spin-offy Zelda, but the story is excellent as well because there's a big twist at the end with the final boss and stuff. It's awesome.
Now, was this made by Nintendo or made by Capcom? I always wondered that. I know it utilizes the Minish Cap lore, which was
Nintendo,
made by
I think.
Capcom.
I don't think Capcom worked on this one. They worked on the Oracle games and Minish Cap.
Yeah.
Minish Cap, but I don't. Yeah, I think Jonathan's right. I don't think it was this one.
Okay.
I think this was the sort of. Oh, it was like another game. Well, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It seems very much like Link to the Past.
Shout out to Capcom, makers of the legendary Mega Man series, to put their hands into this series as well. So where would you rank this? Since you really are the only one with
God tier.
God tier. All right. I always thought playing a Zelda game. I actually, when I was a kid, I sent a letter to Nintendo with a list of game ideas, and they sent me back a packet to DeVry. But one of my ideas, and this was before this came out, I'm not taking credit for it because obviously it was in the works before my little self said anything. But one of my ideas was a Legend of Zelda game where this Triforce of Courage was split between twins. Brother and sister, whatever, that people can pick. But then you play the game as a co-op 2-player game because me and my sister love Zelda, but we always were like, man, we wish we could play at the same time instead of switching off or you have a file, I have a file. So I was like, that would be fun to have a multiplayer Zelda game. And then like 4 years later, this came out. And I was like, well.
It might be worth saying, I don't think this game is co-op. Is it? Is it
4-player
co-op?
Yeah, I thought Four Swords
it
is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very specific co-op though, because I think I remember you actually need the Game Boys and then the Link
Game Boy Link cable,
to do
and
the
4
co-op.
people.
Yeah.
And I think you actually need the cartridge with Link to the Past with Four Swords Adventures in it.
Maybe.
I think. I don't know if
I don't
that's
know
true.
Interesting.
But,
okay, but the combat even for single player is really great. Because you still got all 4 and they're nice in a line, and you can but there's different formations and stuff you can do. And there's secrets and it's great. It's great. There's a lot of Zelda staples actually in this one.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always like the lavender.
The item system is great.
All right, and just before we go back to handheld, we want to talk about this. This is kind of Four Swords. It's Four Swords and A Link to the Past.
This one's like a throwaway. This one's just Link to the Past again.
I spent so many hours playing Four Swords with kids around the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah. It was so much fun.
I played the little 3DS release, and just playing it single player, it doesn't feel great because you only get 2 links, and it's like you switch off like a Lego game.
Oh yeah, that would not be fun.
Yeah, it's just a pretty forgettable experience. So
I would say, if you have people to be the individual links like I did, it's one of the best gaming experiences you'll ever have. It's so fun. It's so funny. Like before Phasmophobia and all that stuff, we'd be like, "Yo, where are you with the keys?" Like, I'm trapped in the room. I'm fighting a mini boss by myself. Like, we're like, oh, well, you triggered the mini boss before we could go there. You should said something like arguing with each other and then like starting over. I'm like, all right, you collect rupees, you fight monsters. Like, it's so fun. So I would see how it is boring if you had to just like play switch off by yourself. That'd be so boring. But As someone who played it, and it comes with Link to the Past, guess since Four Swords individually and Link to the Past individually are in God tier, this just belongs in God tier. If you ask me,
It has to be. It has to be.
Okay,
it's just logic. And moving on to Minish Cap, another Capcom.
Oh man,
This is the Game Boy Advance right after Oracle. This is a God tier, if you ask me. I love this game.
Did it suffer from anything? I mean, it really is a good one.
It's so good. Combat, puzzles, graphics for Game Boy Advance was really good. Really cool animations in it.
Really cool concept with the shrinking.
Didn't need the Master Sword. Welcome to the Picori Blade, everybody.
It gave a story behind Link's hat, which we didn't ask for, but loved.
Now I think about it, and this was a familiar too. Not as spunky as Min or Tattle, but I guess I would give this.
This was a good one. This was a good one.
This is a good.
They were kind of sassy, I think.
Very sassy, yeah. Very sassy. Gave you hints in that sarcastic way, like you should try this or whatever. You should press A, whatever that means. Something, like. I don't. Everything. Zelda's such a God series, but I want to put in God tier, man.
This is the Paper Mario of Legend of Zelda.
For a reason.
Yeah, we just got this on Wii U, actually. We haven't started it. One of the games I said.
It's good.
Which goes down.
Yeah, you guys.
You're gonna have a great experience. I wish I could play this game for the first time again. I had it on the Wii U. I have it on the Wii U as well, but I have other games that I haven't played, like Phantom Hourglass on the Wii U, that I can't wait to start.
Ooh, Phantom Hourglass.
Now we do not. Do we have that?
We don't.
We don't have Phantom Hourglass, so it's
great.
It's
hard to find for the
Phantom
DS.
Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, and I chose Phantom Hourglass since it's more directly right after Wind Waker.
I will say the graphics on this one aren't the best, but it has an excellent story, I think. And I love how you can customize your boat. I thought that was fun.
So yeah, that's what I looked up on Reddit, and that helped make my decision. They said if you want a better story, Phantom Hourglass. If you want more better combat, Spirit Tracks. I'm always for the story.
Oh, but I like the story of Spirit Tracks too. Even.
Yeah, I was about to say Spirit Tracks has a great story as well, but yeah, I'll go into that. Get that one.
I think they're both of them are. Now I will say too, I didn't like the final boss as much on this one. I thought it was a little dull.
Okay.
The final boss.
Well, not too many spoilers.
Right.
Well, here
I just thought it was dull.
Legend of Na.
No.
Fuck it.
Silly.
No. Let's
let you and Jonathan debate this out since you played it. I don't know if Don's
great game.
I haven't
all
played
right.
Phantom Hourglass.
I played this one. So Tim did Phantom Hourglass, Jonathan did Spirit Tracks.
Okay.
I haven't finished Spirit Tracks. I only played the start of that, but from what I saw, I liked. But this one was a good one.
Same tier.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't put it in the same tier as like an Ocarina. I'd give it a Legend of All Right.
All right, yeah.
Legend of All Right.
All right, moving on to its Landlocked sequel with the same
Landlocked sequel. This one was interesting to me. I really like this one.
Spirit, the hero of trains.
Hero of Trains. There was a lot of inventive stuff here.
Yeah, like Tim said, I love this. Again, if you're someone who liked, the Link and Zelda, dynamic or ship, you'll like this game's story. If not, probably not. But it is good to have Zelda in a large, since you actually do get to have at least partial control of her as she stuff. Dungeons Design's pretty all right. There is some backtracking, which does get a little old. And honestly, it is funny because, both, that was kind of an issue that would come up more in Skyward Sword. But I'd say it's a little weaker. It's a little worse here. But even then, I still feel like the game is so charming and stuff. I love the music for the game is excellent. When Tim's mentioning the boss act, been listening to the final boss track. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. It might be my favorite final boss track of the series. No pun intended with tracks.
I was gonna say it's like the track game better have good tracks.
But yeah, it's there's no better word I can describe this game than charming. So yeah, I definitely say up there either with great or all right. I'm fine with either category.
All right.
Why don't we just pair with it?
Do we do twins with the Phantom Hourglass?
Twins.
I still want to
All
make
right
the Reddit opinion people mad. They were pretty fiery in that column, if I remember.
All right, let us know in the comments.
It sucks though, because Toon Link is my favorite Link design. I know people
He
might
is.
like older,
Yeah.
edgier Link. Breath of the Wild is probably my second favorite, but nothing beats Toon Link for me. But I have to put him in all right.
Same.
And Toon Link has done justice here. Also, spiritual.
Okay.
I really like it.
We'll probably have to get off soon, so I'm gonna be a little
Zip.
All right,
to the
well,
point with some of
It's
these.
gonna be
Well, Link
short with
Between
us. You're
Worlds.
just gonna.
It's just
Link Between Worlds rocks.
Link
It's
Between
great.
Worlds. I haven't played this.
isn't this the one where you
It's
go
a great
flat?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
into the wall.
basically just a direct sequel / in a way like a soft remake
1.5.
Link to the Past.
1.5
Yeah.
Link to the Past, like a little remake with a little bit of extra story, a different dynamic
That's the
to it.
only thing.
It looked
Yeah.
cool. I was watching Sugar Conway play it for a little bit. Then I'm like, I'm too old to watch Sugar Conway, and I stopped watching him play it. So.
Great game.
That's
Recommend.
I remember when Wind Waker came out.
No,
I watched him play that.
I don't know what the heck this is. Is this a
John,
Triforce
What
Heroes.
is
is
this?
Legend of
interesting.
Max, right? this
he doesn't like it.
What is
it's
it though?
okay. So basically, it's meant to be kind of a successor to Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures, but
Right.
kind of like the issue I mentioned with playing Four Swords single player. You have to switch if playing single player, you have to switch individually between 3 different links. And if you're multiplayer, that can be fun, but single player, it just is very tedious. And the story itself really doesn't feel like Zelda epic at all. Really, the story is like you gotta fix some wardrobe malfunction basically, and the whole game revolves around clothes. The items are all clothing based pretty much, and yeah, honestly,
say-
I did not.
I do like the
Enjoy
little
my
dudes behind them. Are they based on Jin and Nehru? Or Jin
Yeah.
and
Yeah, well, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it is just those 3
Triforce.
versions of Link, but yeah,
Oh, so those are
overall, I
links.
just
I thought they were like 2
Yeah.
different guys.
It's not, but
Nope.
he doesn't have like a 3 sword. How he had the four swords abilities that splits you into 4.
4 links.
This one, why is he split? Why is he split?
I don't care to
Still
remember.
He seems like he
The
just
game is all
probably
about-
puts on different enchanted clothes. Probably like a Din
Oh.
tunic, Nehru tunic.
I think they're different clothing names, but yeah,
So
overall,
Legend of
you're
Nah. So
you're
Legend
Red
of
Link,
Nah.
Blue
Yeah.
Link, Green Link. It's
It
not
wouldn't
even
be-
have Zelda. It's not epic.
It would
I
have
don't
been
really
cool
care.
if those were like playable familiars.
I don't
That's
know
when
much
I
about
would have
this.
maybe given it a Legend of Mid. But since they're just him in different clothes and a different wardrobe, then nah. Okay, then moving on to
So
what
we don't even need
already
to talk
know.
about this one.
God tier.
Yeah, I mean,
God
not here,
tier.
right? We all agree.
Legend of
Nah.
God
Yeah.
tier.
Yeah.
No, of course,
Hmm.
it is the game. It's the biggest game changer since our time. It's redefined what's possible now in the games. It's just a
Influenced
whole new
gaming.
world.
We got
It's a
voice
bit-
acting now.
voice acting,
Voice acting in there.
true open world,
Even though the
and
English
yet
is
it's
kind of
yeah.
Oh!
voice acting.
it's
I
kind
do
of goofy
personally.
sometimes, and sometimes I can hear that they're close to the mic. Too
I'm
close
not
to the
crazy
mic.
about the Japanese voice acting
I
either,
hear
if
that.
I'm honest.
Yeah, that's why I switched from Japanese to English, because Japanese just felt like a mid-anime.
Well, Link doesn't talk, of course, but what do you guys think of Zelda's voice?
Her British
the
voice
English
sucks.
version? It's pretty good.
I don't mind
I
it.
don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I don't like it. I wish they
Wrong
would go with
on me.
American voice
I
acting.
wish it wasn't British. I wish it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, something else.
It makes sense if
Should've-
everyone in this
Even
language.
German.
I don't
I'm
know.
just not
yo.
happy with what it is. I don't know what it should be, but I'm just not happy with that.
I do like the animations, and I will say it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not the worst voice
It's
acting
not
I've
bad.
heard.
Cutscenes are fine.
Mhm.
Gorgeous game, obviously. Graphics
I didn't like the final boss.
the other consoles of this generation, but
There are
Yes.
directions.
I do like the art direction. I do
Skyrim.
like
like the
how
final
it's
boss.
set up. Like I was talking to my girlfriend because I just got done hitting all the towers, so I got the whole map,
Hit him.
and I was like, I like how it's set up because I really learned how to play the game just by running around and doing stuff.
Yes.
Yes. And I feel like that I feel like usually Zelda's set up with
So
3
well designed.
or 4 starter dungeons to kind of like be like learn the controls on everything you can do, and then like we throw these last 3 or 4
Right.
challenges that let you use all of that to beat the game. Where like it seems like the world is the first dungeon with all the shrines and all that stuff.
There's so much.
And then once you get, I'm at the part where I just pulled the Master Sword out. So
Oh,
yeah, I just pulled the Master Sword out, and now I'm going to use that to slay some Divine Beasts, hopefully.
oh wow! So you got the Master Sword before the Divine Beast. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to, but I wanted to expand my inventory, and I did it so much that Hesta went to the Lost Woods, and I'm like, I need to expand more inventory because I got all these Korok seeds. So I went there first. I'm like, oh, the Master Sword's here. So
Yeah.
But you know that's what's great about this game. If you want to go for it,
yeah,
you know you can't. Yeah, and
Everyone's got a unique experience.
that's what I love about it.
And I think the
think-
DLC too adds a lot too, since pretty much it gives you like just another section of the game to go through.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get.
I think there's one more thing we got to do, guys. Before we go, we got to move all these tiers down and put Tears of the Kingdom up top. Because Tears of the Kingdom.
So what would be bigger
It's gonna be
than
all
God?
these out. It's gonna be all these out.
Well, to be honest, let Tears of the Kingdom. If we want to talk about game changers, Zelda changed the world of gaming with its all right. Did it change the world of gaming with its great game? Did it change the world of this game with a god tier? And yes, this next game is crazy if you talk about all the stuff you can do in it. There's no other game where you can take literally anything and infuse them together, glue them together, make things in them. I mean, Minecraft is close, but the combat that's in Legend of Zelda is not Minecraft. It's not even play.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft's combat is point and click compared to what you can do with Zelda. So
You can usher in
It's a baby
drone
game
strikes
for
in this game.
exactly, like
You can drone, sorry?
It's insane.
I saw on TikTok a guy made a
haven't seen
Gundam
much.
bot.
Try not to.
Like he made a Gundam wing mecha bot that he was just
Oh my
slaying mobs of moblins with.
It's got a real Looney Tunes physics to it. Wacky game, and I love that it embraces.
It just got
Chaotic
GTA
in the
6 quaking in its boots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
GTA.
Yep.
Like if we really want to talk about it,
Yeah.
this is the game changer. Like GTA 6 is gonna roll out and cool, but you can't fuse things together in GTA 6. You can't glue skylines together and ride them.
Now just wait till the GTA 6 hot glue gun.
Yeah. They're gonna try, but it's not gonna feel
early
as
purchase
good.
bonus. Get the hot glue gun.
It's just crazy how Nintendo is just like, yeah, keep calling us whatever, say our graphics or whatever. We'll just show you how to change the game.
Well, it's funny too because everyone was like, okay, you're doing like just another sequel, and it's taken like 6 years. How good is this going to be? And they're like, all right, here you go.
All right.
They're like just like, yeah, we'll show you how good it's going to be. There's a reason why these programmers aren't going home on Christmas. There's a reason. All right. With that note, we know we got to go.
So this is it.
This is the list. This is a great one. I agree with this one. 100%.
Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being here. You brought definitely an angle.
Thanks to special
to a lot of
guest
games
Jonathan.
that we wouldn't have any opinion over. So
I told you he had takes. So.
Follow him on Twitter.